Hello, I'm Marty Season Wrestlers here, and today I'm going to guys my ranking on the Flash seasons from season 1 through 8, from worst to best. Coming in last place, in surprise, surprise, or no surprise at all, season 2 still remains to be the worst of the show. Season 2 has a lot of really good concepts. The multiverse, Zoom, his concept at first sounds really good. Apart from him having no motivations. Overall, it sounds like a good season, but the execution was horrible. They retcon a lot from season one. Like, remember back in season one when Wetwood was going after Joe? Well, in season two, he's after Barry. What happened to Wetwood's motivations back in season one? You don't know because it's a retcon. The fact that they brought back Eobard Dawn in this season instead of maybe like around season 3, it really would have shown that actually having Eobard Dawn back in just one season, it just doesn't work. The fact that Caitlyn was like obsessed and was like afraid of becoming Killer Frost, where in reality she wasn't. She was not even affected by the particle accelerator. Well, back at the time, she wasn't affected by it before the Flashpoint and all that stuff. Overall, and also Zoom's reveal still doesn't make sense. I still don't know how he's still alive after he killed a time clone of himself. Still doesn't make sense. Then again, time travel is so confusing, etc. Overall, it's a terrible season. Next up, we have season 7. Now, season 7 had a lot of issues. The Forces arc was really not the best storyline. I mean, it's a very interesting concept. You have in the stage, the still in the Strength Force. But the way they used the concept was just not that well. The Still Force in the comics, I think, is more like the Turtles' powers from season 6. Has the ability of slowing down. Basically, the Speed Force just, instead of being fast, you're extremely slow, etc. The idea, like, though we had some great stuff in the Forces storyline. You had the introduction of one of my favorite characters, Chillblaine. I know people are going to hate me for saying this, but I really like season 7 Chillblaine, and I still prefer season 8 Chillblaine, but I still enjoy season 7 Chillblaine. I know probably people are going to dislike this video because of that. Please don't. Thought that some of the interlude ideas were really good, like the Cisco and the Cecile episode sounded very interesting, but just the concept. So I'd say this season's main issue is that the ideas are there, but the execution is horrible. Horrible execution. So the season overall is a mixed bag. Next up, we have season 8. Now, season 8 for me started off with the first 2 episodes being a very good start. Armageddon Part 1 and 2 was fantastic. After that, Armageddon went downhill. If you really rewatched Part 3, you would know exactly why I disliked that episode. Half the episode is literally dedicated to Cecile and Allegra and Iris, and I'm like, where's Barry? Like, really, if you rewatch that episode, the first half of the episode is just focused on Cecile, Allegra, Iris, and all that stuff. And that stuff I'm just not interested in. And the Barry and Black Lightning stuff kind of gets pushed until the second half of the episode. And then Armageddon Part 4 had a lot of issues, but it was a very decent episode. In Part 5, well, you all know my thoughts on that. Episode 6 was not that great. Yeah, then you have the Goldface episode, which I really enjoyed. Then you have the Deathstorm arc, which in my opinion is the best portion of the season. Then you have from like episode 8 or 7 through until like episode 14 was like a huge streak of great episodes. Then you have episode 15, which was trash because I didn't care for time sickness anymore. Then you had episode 16 and another great episode. But then you have the final graphic novel, which I can kind of consider to be the worst graphic novel you can ever imagine. That graphic novel number 7, it's all negative, completely destroys logic. That is the worst graphic novel of the Flash by far, in my opinion. Yeah, I thought the Forces was the worst, but apparently that's arguably even worse. So overall, season 8 is like season 7, where it's a mixed bag. Coming in number 5, we have Steel. Our first season, season 1. Now, season 1 for me is overrated. It's still a good season. It's still a good season. So don't just lose your mind saying, oh, you just ate the Flash. No, I said season 1 is still a good season, just that it's very overrated. Season 1 to me is extremely overrated in the sense that I don't consider it to be the best season of the show. Weather Wizard and all that, like the metas was a lot of fun. Interactions like Leonard Snart, Mick Rory, Lisa Snart, who are gone by now. I really wish they brought Lisa Snart back next. Hope they bring her back next season. They didn't even end her character on the best of season 2. They just referenced her from that point onwards. I don't know what happened to her character. Yeah, so basically season 1 had a lot of great introductions, but my overall issue is there's some of the filler are either boring or but the problem is that some episodes are boring. Like episode 5, episode 7, they were boring. The first few episodes were not that great. But overall, it's a decent season, and also I'd say Iris was very irritating in this season. Even more irritating than she was in season 4. Coming next up is season 5. Now, season 5 to me is an extremely underrated season. I know people are gonna hate me for this, but yeah. The reason I like season 5 is simply because of Cicada. He was the highlight of the season for me personally. I thought his motivations were so compelling. His motivations were that compelling to a point. He was just carrying the show. Oh, he was carrying the show on his capable shoulders. And also the development of Barry, being a father and training a new speedster, even though it's the same thing, at least it's something new, You actually are seeing Barry realizing the struggles. In fact, in the first episode of season 5, even Barry was a little sad because now, he can't see, him with his baby, how she walks and how, you know what I mean, right? And overall, I really feel like season 5 to me is underrated. The only stuff I did not like about season 5 was just the Eobard Dawn stuff, but still, I still say it's a good season in my opinion. Next up, we have season 3. Hey, this is when season 3. For me, season 3 was a very great season. I thought Savitar's design and just overall concept was really interesting. The ancient ancient Egyptian kind of tone they decided to use, in my opinion, worked better than the season 2. I also felt that that Savitar storyline of him killing Iris being a very good storyline, because it actually felt at times that Team Flash never really knew what they were going to do with Savitar. What if Savitar does it earlier? What if putting a lot of members on Team Flash on very stressful days, which in my opinion worked. This is kind of one of the very few last seasons that actually felt like a real season, What I mean by that is that this is the last season where it felt like the characters are actually struggling through something, etc. But our runner-up is season 4. Season 4 is, in my opinion, one of the most underrated seasons of the show. I freaking love season 4. I love the vote. I love the body swapping. I know people are gonna hate me for that, because apparently they do. I love how they truly developed Barry and Iris. Iris wasn't annoying in this season, in my opinion. I like We Are the Flash. Yeah. You are not the Flash. We are. Yep. Yep. I like Girls Night Out. You know, you have Drunk Barry. He's like, I'm the Flash, or Cisco's like Sad Flash, right in the face. Yeah, season four is easily the second best season. But coming in number one, we have obviously season six. Season six is just the best in my opinion. It has the show that is literally the show at its best. You have the show being characters being very serious. I don't think for one moment a lot of the characters are joking around in either graphic novels at all. You do see them like be happy at times, but deep down, everyone's serious. There's no jokes. There's no like, hey, buddy, yeah, you want to have a party and make a joke or a lot of movie references at all. I don't think Cisco even makes a few jokes in season six, but that's one of the reasons I like season six. It's very dark, it's very serious, and it actually knows what to do. Season 6 also handles the blood work and Mirror Monarch storyline very well. The Mirror Monarch storyline was, in my opinion, the last storyline where it felt like the characters actually had real stakes. Because every location has a lot of reflective stuff, and Mirror Monarch can easily grab them. So in my opinion, it made more stakes than say nowadays, where it's like, oh, we're gonna imprison Eobard Dawn in a cell where, he's more likely to get help. That was just stupid. Whereas here, it actually felt like there were some real stakes. The Bloodwork arc was great because it was scary and actually a lot of fun. But the idea of Bloodwork being one of the very few metas that a meta cup cannot work on, in my opinion, is what made him a threatening villain. So I have those for my ranking on the Flash series. Let me know your ranking down below, and as always, I'll see you next time. Good.